The juice of a broken leaf smells of metallic rain and ancient dust, a scent that hasn't changed since the first dynasty of Ur. When the skin of the aloe is breached, it bleeds a yellow latex, aloin, that tastes of pure concentrated bitterness, a chemical defensive line established millions of years ago to ensure that nothing with a pulse would ever dare eat it twice. This is not a plant that asks for your love. It is a plant that demands your distance, standing in the parched earth like a cluster of green, serrated knives pointing toward a sun that would kill anything less resilient. In the papyrus scrolls of the Abers collection, written when the pyramids were still young and gleaming white, it was named the plant of immortality, not because it lived forever, but because it could survive the absence of the world around it. It is a biological vault, a hydraulic miracle that keeps its heart wet while the Sahara turns bones to powder. The geometry of the aloe is a Fibonacci sequence tightened into a fist. Each leaf is a reservoir, a pressurized chamber of translucent parenchyma gel that functions as a structural skeleton. Without this water, the plant would collapse into a heap of dry fiber, but under pressure, the gel becomes as rigid as bone. This is the alchemy of the succulent. It turns the void of the desert into a fullness of spirit. To the ancient Egyptians, this was the silent healer, a presence placed at the entrance of tombs to guide the ka, or the soul, through the lightless corridors of the duat. They believed the plant's ability to remain turgid and green without soil or visible water was a sign of its connection to the eternal flow of the Nile in the stars. When a pharaoh died, the aloe was there, its bitter blood used in the sacred art of embalming, preserving the flesh against the rot of time, acting as a bridge between the living breath and the frozen silence of the sarcophagus. In the tradition of the ancient weaver, the aloe is the thread that binds the physical wound to the spiritual tear. When the gel touches burned skin, it does not merely cool, it initiates a cellular recruitment. Asamanin, the complex polysaccharide found deep within the leaf, acts as a biological conductor, signaling the macrophages to accelerate their work. It is a mimicry of the Earth's own regenerative power. In the realm of the unseen, the Feng Shui of the aloe is equally sharp. It is considered a protector plant, its thorny edges acting as a psychic fence. Placed in a northern window, it filters the incoming energy, catching the jagged sha-chi, or killing breath of the street, and slowing it down into a manageable rhythm. It is a sentinel of the threshold. It breathes while you sleep, performing a reverse respiration that defies the standard logic of the botanical world. Most plants gasp for carbon dioxide in the heat of the day, losing precious moisture through their open stomata. The aloe is a practitioner of Crassulacean Acid Metabolism. It waits. It keeps its pores sealed tight against the scorching sun, holding its breath in a state of meditative stasis until the moon rises and the air cools. Only then, in the safety of the dark, does it open itself to the atmosphere, drinking the carbon of the night to build its sugars for the coming dawn. There is a myth whispered in the dry valleys of the Arabian Peninsula that the first aloe grew from a drop of sweat from the brow of a fallen star. It was a gift to the nomads, a way to carry the ocean in their pockets across the empty quarter. To carry a piece of aloe was to carry a promise of return. If you hang a harvested aloe by a string in your doorway, it will continue to grow, drawing its life from the humidity of the air alone, a ghost plant that refuses to acknowledge the death of its roots. This resilience is what makes it the centerpiece of the House of Protection rituals. In certain Caribbean traditions, the plant is fed, with a silver coin buried in its pot to ensure that the wealth of the household never dries up as long as the leaves remain plump. If the plant suddenly withers despite perfect care, it is said to have taken the hit, absorbing a wave of misfortune or envy intended for the inhabitants of the house. It is a sacrificial green shield. The biology of the aloe is a lesson in radical self-sufficiency. It produces its own salicylic acid, the precursor to aspirin, to modulate its internal temperature and combat stress. It is a self-medicating organism. When a leaf is sliced, the wound seals in minutes, forming a protective scab of hardened sap that prevents infection from fungi or bacteria. It is the ultimate survivalist, a prepper of the plant kingdom. Its roots are shallow but expansive, designed to catch the lightest mist of a morning fog before the sun can reclaim it. In the wild, the aloe vera does not wait for the rain. It anticipates the drought. It stores enough life within its thick, waxy cuticle to last for months of total isolation. This is why the alchemists of the Middle Ages sought to extract its sulfur, its essential soul, believing that the bitterness of the aloe was the key to cleansing the human blood of its melancholy, or black bile. They saw the plant as a physical manifestation of the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. Just as it cleansed the skin, it was thought to scour the spirit of its impurities. In the modern world, we have forgotten the weight of this plant. We see it in plastic bottles on pharmacy shelves, dyed an artificial neon green, stripped of its thorns and its mystery. But the true aloe remains a creature of the wasteland. It thrives on neglect. If you water it too much, it rots. It views your kindness as a threat, a drowning of its stoic nature. It prefers the cracked earth and the blinding glare. It asks you to be as tough as its skin and as fluid as its heart. To grow an aloe is to keep a piece of the primordial desert in your living room. It is a reminder that beauty does not have to be soft, and that the most potent medicine often comes wrapped in a layer of spines. The ritual care of the aloe is not about pruning or fertilizing. It is about observation. You must watch the color of the leaves. When they turn a dusty purple, the plant is telling you it has reached its limit of sun, a botanical blush of stress. When the leaves flatten and thin, it is consuming itself, drinking its own internal reservoir to stay alive. It is a slow-motion drama of survival. In the high deserts of Mexico, healers known as curanderos use the aloe in limpias, or spiritual cleansings. They pass the leaf over the body of the afflicted, believing the thorns can hook into the susto, the soul loss or fright, and pull it out of the skin. The leaf is then discarded far from the home, carrying the heaviness away. Think of the aloe as a living battery. It stores the solar radiation of the day and converts it into a complex lattice of mannans, enzymes, and minerals. It is a solid form of light. When you apply it to a wound, you are applying the stored energy of 100 desert afternoons. There is no waste in the aloe. Every part of its anatomy is functional. The yellow sap for defense, the clear gel for storage, the thick skin for protection, and the occasional tall orange flower spike, a sudden, violent eruption of color, to signal to the birds that even the most bitter dweller of the sand has a moment of sweetness. This flower is a rare gift, appearing only when the plant feels entirely secure in its environment, a flag of victory over the harshness of its surroundings. The aloe is a testament to the power of the inner well. In a world that demands we constantly outpour our energy, the aloe teaches the sanctity of the hoard. It reminds us that to be of use to the world, to heal, to protect, to soothe, we must first ensure that our own internal reservoirs are full. It is the plant of the introvert, the hermit, and the stoic. It does not compete for space. It occupies its own niche with a quiet, sharp dignity. It is the green fire that cannot be extinguished by the heat of the world. It is the memory of the ocean, held captive in a desert vessel, waiting for the moment its seal is broken to pour out its cool, translucent mercy. The connection between the aloe and the human genome is deeper than many realize. Some theorists in the realm of cosmic botany suggest that the aloe's specific combination of polysaccharides is so perfectly tuned to human cellular repair that it hints at a long-term co-evolutionary pact. We carried the aloe out of Africa, across the Mediterranean, and into the New World because we recognized ourselves in it, a creature that is often prickly on the outside, guarded and sharp, but filled with a hidden, cooling grace that only reveals itself when we are broken open. The aloe is the mirror of the survivor. It is the plant that remains standing when the forest has burned down, its waxy skin reflecting the flames, its heart untouched and wet, waiting for the smoke to clear so it can begin the slow, patient work of reclaiming the earth. Every spine on the edge of an aloe leaf is a silent warning. I am precious, and I am prepared. It is the herbal embodiment of the sovereign soul. It does not need the forest's shade or the gardener's constant hand. It is the alchemist of its own destiny, turning the harsh, white light of the void into a thick, healing nectar that defies the very laws of decay. To touch the gel is to touch the liquid architecture of life itself, a substance that felt the same to a priestess in the temple of Artemis as it does to a child with a scraped knee today. It is the eternal constant, the bitter guardian, the silent healer that watches from the windowsill, breathing the night and holding the sun in its veins.